The warmest welcome to Elsie Leung Oi-sie, the former Secretary of Justice of Hong Kong. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, you became the first Secretary of Justice of Hong Kong in 1997, and you were sworn in during that memorable ceremony to mark China's resumption of exercise of sovereignty over the city. What was your feeling at that moment? Do you still remember?
Yes, I was very excited. It was a new beginning. Hong Kong has become a special administrative region under the People's Republic of China. And that washed away 150 years of humiliation and shame when we suffered under the colonialism. And insofar as I'm concerned, I was also rather worried because I feel the onerous duty which my office carried with it. And so it was very nervous. And on that day, the program was pressed. We run from one event to another. And so by the time when we finished all the job, it was already after 4 a.m. on the 1st of July.
Wow, time goes really fast, right? 25 years went by like that. Looking back, in terms of rule of law, in terms of the judicial system of Hong Kong, what kind of journey has Hong Kong traveled so far?
Yes, I think we have achieved smooth transition on the 1st of July 1997. That was very important. All the previous system, including legal system, continued. Of course, it's not always a smooth path. We had ups and downs. There are challenges of the basic law and so on. But the judicial system and the rule of law remain robust. Insofar as judicial independence is concerned, is secured, is protected by the basic law, is by our system that judges are appointed on the recommendation of an independent commission for recommendation of judicial officers. It's a commission of 9 persons. You have the support of 7 of them before you'll be recommended for approval. And unlike the United States, the chief executive cannot select his own judges. He or she can only refuse to appoint the person recommended, but he cannot nominate his own judges. And once appointed, judges enjoy security of tenure of office, so they cannot be removed unless he or she is unable to perform his duties because of mental or physical illness, or because he's committed a serious misconduct. Now, even in such case, we need to have a committee of 3 judges to have the finding to see whether these are proven, and then recommend it to the chief executive to dismiss or to impose the punishment. So that makes the judges will not be afraid of losing the job or being demoted because he made a decision which is not favorable to the government, and he can faithfully fulfill his duty as promised by the judicial oath, that is to administer justice fairly and openly and without fear or favor.
There has been news, of course, of journalists, of media being shut down, which caused a lot of outcry in Western governments claiming that the freedom of speech in Hong Kong is dead, or that, the city is not the city that they know anymore. Some people are saying, it is not necessary to go that far if you want to protect the national security of Hong Kong. What is your reaction?
Well, these journalists, they are arrested not because they were exercising the freedom of press, but because they committed offenses. Offenses like secession, subversion, and the collusion with foreign government and so on. Now, in the national security law, Hong Kong national security law, it is clearly stated what constitute these offenses. At first, people are afraid that you might be convicted because of your thoughts, because of your conscience, but the offenses were defined clearly with the criminal intention. What is criminal intention, and what are the conducts which constituted the offenses? So it's very clear that, and these journalists are arrested because they committed those offenses, not because of the freedom of exercising freedom of press. In fact, in the past few years, they have gone too far. They have gone beyond the freedom of the press and abusing the freedom.
Is it a problem because the mainland and Hong Kong have two different law systems, right? In Hong Kong, you practice common law. On the mainland is a different system. Is it creating problems for the national security laws that's enacted in Beijing to be properly applied and implemented in Hong Kong?
No, I don't think so, because in an act of the Hong Kong national security law, consideration has been taken regarding the difference in the two systems. That's why the law particularly introduced those rule of law principles, like the innocence or the presumption of innocence, authorized acquittal, and so on, is stated in the national security law. And also that is particularly stated that in the enforcement of the law, the rights of the people should not be affected, should be protected and respected. Insofar as the interpretation of law is concerned, we can see that the law was they well prepared in the amendment of the law. I think the work went back to many years since the Occupy Central, Occupy Mongkok, and so on. They have already been studying the issue for quite some time. And they have also consulted Hong Kong people, Hong Kong experts, regarding the enactment of the law. And so, but insofar as our judges are concerned, they are well equipped to do that. I mean, in the 1990, when we passed the Hong Kong Human Rights, Hong Kong Bill of Rights Ordinance, there were also some disputes about the law because of its special position. But after a few years, it was well settled down with the building up of precedents.
Okay.
And so I think that there could not be any problem for our judiciary.
But concerning if there is a case where this law is provoked or where this law has to be used, will the cases be solely judged and decided upon in Hong Kong by the local judges, or will there be, so-called interference from judges or judicial institutions on the mainland? Help us understand that.
Yes. First of all, I think that the law particularly stated that both the investigation, the prosecution, the trial of cases concerning national security would be conducted locally only. And the punishment, there's imprisonment and so on, this enforcement also takes place in Hong Kong. It is only that when Hong Kong is unable to deal with the particular cases because of international relationship or something like that, or physically we are unable to handle the situation, then with the approval of Central People's Government, it would be conducted by the national security authorities of the mainland. Otherwise, all this would be done in Hong Kong in accordance with the Hong Kong law and the national security law. So there's no worry about this.
What a pleasure, as always, to talk to you, Elsie. All the very best and happy anniversary to you.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you.